name is Margaret Ann Windsor, and this is the 19th of May. It's a Monday of 2014. By the way, I just forgot something. Let me reach and get it here. I wanted to kind of wrap this up. I'm not sure, it's hard to get it on a 10-minute video. And then have to start over. I want to say that I was kidnapped from Buckingham Palace in 41, brought to Moulton, Alabama, Lawrence County, and given the name of a twin. Peggy and Dempsey married Childers, and that's the name I still have to go by. Now, they're both twins. I found out in '83 when I was in a political campaign. Oh, actually, it was afterward, and the Brits told me, the British. This is a death certificate for Carl Preston Dempsey. And this was redone, falsified, because I do remember them talking about it growing up. I didn't know my name. I've been told that subconsciously I did. But anyway, he was just buried in a wintertime. I remember that. Name don't know. Anyway, E. Dempsey and all that. Jones's Chapel, and he was buried. Anyway, there was no attending doctor, so she killed him, plain and simple. Now, then, this is Peggy. You don't have a birth certificate. You have a birth certificate for her, but no death. She's fed to the pigs. I remember growing up, Matthew, he was in the Army, and him coming in screaming, "But you fed her to the pigs." It was later when I found out about my kidnapping real name that I put some of this together back then, thinking about what was said, and some other stuff that led to knowing she's fed to the pigs. But here is the name I have to go by, and this is Lina, the mother of the twins, a horrible creature. It was a hellhole, a pigsty. And I wanted to make a point of the birth dates here. January the 7th, the state of Alabama, Montgomery, actually just marked through. When I got these birth certificates, I'd been to I already had them, really, to the embassy in D.C. of England. And but I didn't have Carl's, I don't think. But anyway, I got it. And January the 7th was, it was marked through, and that was, January was written then. And 1938, it stayed the same. Now then, Dr. Irwin delivered the twins. And what else did I show it? Well, I wanted to show this because on Carl's, I don't know if I said that, Carl Preston, he was the twin, Lina the mother, and when they marked through his, they marked through it and put January the 7th, and they put 39 up there, but of course the 8 they didn't mark through 1938. They made it so it coincided with the date of birth given me. And I grew up with, I guess they thought I was going to die and never make it, and I've had antifreeze and you name it put in me, so I don't know if I've made it or not. But, okay, now then, I wanted to say this. I wrote about mind control before I found out about my name in '83. I'd worked for doctors. And in '76, '77, '78, I wrote a medical malpractice book about mind control, and how agencies, MK Ultra, FBI, can use it to modify behavior and start programming your children from an early age. And now then, there's a lot of agencies using it, even private corporations. So you can Google, YouTube, or just Google and find mind control, and you can get some good information. It's when I was writing about it that they were done in patterns, and there wasn't that much information out there. You didn't have the internet then, so at least as far as I knew, you didn't. So, Larry Flint was shot next door when I was doing the book. I was in Marietta, Moonraker Apartments, and MD License to Kill was the name of the book, and it was never published because I had a letter from the FBI, June the 23rd of '79, ongoing investigation, national security involved. And that April Fool Day of '80, I ended up having antifreeze put in me and should have died, gone in a coma and died. So this is where Larry Flint wrote me up in April of '84, Hustler. And I had flown to his home in '83 in a campaign to replace Larry McDonald, whose plane was shot down. It veered into Russian airspace. Well, it was a passenger plane, August 31st of '83. Mr. Flint says I know who was responsible for his shooting, and that they made a pauper out of me. Now then, if I don't get lost here, Flint, the person that shot him, of course, was programmed to shoot him. And let me give this information. Some of the mind control murders that they've kept doing in patterns, and the media won't tell it because the people that kidnapped me, the Bilderbergers, Rothschilds, Rockefellers, Joe Kennedy, the Kennedys, and my own Uncle George and Roosevelt helped in my kidnapping, and they're not going to tell them. So here is James Holmes, who's being treated for mental illness. Mind control has nothing to do with mental illness, so you can see where they don't want this told about my kidnapping, about the people who've been illegally locked up and treated for an illness they don't have. So I want to show you Timothy McVeigh, who was put to death. He told that he had a chip put up his buttocks by the U.S. military. And it's implantable biochips, Project Lucid, which is the new world order that's in place right now, that Elizabeth and my uncle that helped in my kidnapping, he was visiting, planning my kidnapping in '39 with Roosevelt, who gave Joe Kennedy the ambassadorship to England and helped in my kidnapping and take down my father, King Edward VIII, who never married Wallace Simpson. A double did. I'm going to show that. So it was an illegal takedown, and I'm the heir to the British crown, and that's legal. But I can't go home. I'm here. I'm a hostage, and there were illegal treaties signed by my uncle. And this is going to go out, and I didn't get it on this tape, that allowed the United States to put its bases all over British soil, take down the British and me, their hostages. Now, I want to make a point here. Mind control was used in the shooting of John Lennon. I had been taken across the state line and worked for District Attorney Simpson, Fred Simpson, Madison County DA in Huntsville, Alabama in '80 when he was killed. Remember, Simpson was supposed to marry my father. Now then, the next job I had was for Doyle Duke, as in the Duke of Windsor. Now I wanted to make this one before I go, if I can get it on here. This is my sons, Mark, Scott. Mark is there after me, and then Scott would be. And this is an old picture of me, and I'm the heir, Victoria II. And I've shown you, I hope I did the birth certificates. Lina Dempsey was the mother. By the way, I wanted to make this. Lina Dempsey worked in the campaign of Alabama Governor George Wallace, and she was in Maryland, Laurel, Maryland, when he was shot. And later he died, and it was horrible what happened to him. But the man that shot him was programmed to shoot him. So there's a lot more of the deaths. There's a list. I want to say they've used chemicals on me since I came up here. I'm allergic to them, and I have an immune disorder. And these people, Corporate Suites, handed me a letter today. They have gassed me, and I've told about it. The Virginia State Trooper, his wife, even took me to one of them in '09 and told me when she left that that's how they run me, using chemicals, and Americans are above the law. And so over the years,